Hi, this is Dave, Fell Running Guide. Welcome to this week's navigation task. This week we're looking at a skill. That's a skill of being able to estimate time. So how long will it take us to do a particular route or section of a route? And that really is a useful skill to be able to look at something and know how long it's going to take rather than just having a complete guess. So we're going to use this example of going from A, following the yellow route, to B, and can you work out how long you think it will take you based on your level of fitness? So how do we do that? Well, there's a well-known way that hill walkers can do this. It's following something called Naismith's rule, which gives an estimate of walking speed and adding time based on the amount of climb that you're going to do. So Naismith rule says that you're going to walk at 5 kilometers an hour, which is 12 minutes per kilometer or 12 minutes per grid square, and that you would add 1 minute for every 10 meters that you go uphill. And if the map has contour intervals of 10 meters, then that's really easy because you just add a minute for every contour line that you cross going up. But that is for hill walkers walking probably with a large rucksack on and at an all-day pace. It's a bit different if we're running, because we're going at different paces. So we might want to consider what pace are we running at. Are we doing parkrun pace, 10k pace, marathon pace, ultramarathon pace? Is it a short fast fell race where we just blast up and down again, or is it something like Ennerdale or Wasdale where you're going to be out for hours and hours? But there's still a reasonable sort of formula that we can use. So think about if you can do a 10k race on the flats in an hour, and if you can, then you're running at 10 kilometers an hour. Okay, and that equates to 6 minutes per kilometer or 6 minutes per grid square on the map. So it will take you 6 minutes to cover a square. And what we need to think about is adding time for going up. We're going to be slightly faster than Naismith's because we're running and we're not carrying a big heavy rucksack. So we could look at adding 1 minute for every 30 meters that we climb rather than 10 meters. So if we bear that in mind, we can try and work that out on the map. So first thing we need to do is work out the distance from A to B. There's a few ways of doing that. We can just estimate it. You could just maybe, if you had this as a paper map, put your thumb on A and the forefinger when you think there's a kilometre done. So think 1 kilometre to there, and then another kilometre to there, another kilometre to there, and another kilometre to the end. Or you could be more accurate. You could lay your compass string or lanyard along the route, put it over and extend it all the way along, and then pull that taut and measure it along these grid squares. Count your grid squares. Or if you've got electronic mapping, you might be able to use that, and it might tell you, 3,900 meters or something like that. But just looking at that, you might look at it and estimate, right, well, that is roughly 4 kilometers. So we're going to call that 4k for the purposes of this exercise. And then you need to work out the height gain. So how do we do that? We need to find out what height A is. If we look closely here, we can see the 230 contour there, and there's a 210 contour coming in there. And then going up, we can see there's a 500 meter contour there, and then there's just another ring contour in there, so that's 510. So for all intents and purposes, we're going from 210 up to 510, which is a climb of 300 meters. So now that we know that, we can work out how long it's going to take us for the distance and how long it's going to take us for the climb. So let's do that. Now the actual measured distance using my map software came out at 4,200 meters, but as I said, we're going to round that down to 4 kilometers just for the purpose of this exercise. So 4 kilometers at 6 minutes per kilometre. 6 fours is 24, so 24 minutes for the distance taken. And then we said it was going to be 300 metres climbed. And if we're adding 1 minute for every 30 metres, then we need to add 10 minutes for that 300 metres. That's quite convenient. And then we add the 24 and the 10 together, and we get 34 minutes. So 34 minutes for that distance and height gain using that particular formula. What you might want to do is say, well, I'm a bit fitter than that. I'm probably going to go a bit faster than 10 kilometers an hour, or the other way around, saying I'm going to be running a bit slower than that. But find what works for you. A really good thing nowadays with modern sports watches is you can look at something like Strava or Garmin Connect, and you can actually see how quickly you're covering the ground. So find out what works for you, find a formula that works for you, and then when you do get sort of shown a map and shown a route on a map, rather than going, do you know what, I haven't got a clue how long it's going to take me to cover that, and just have an absolute guess, then you can look at it and say, yeah, well, okay, that's going to take me about that long for that distance, and I'm going to add so many minutes for that, and come out with a rough figure. So hope that's useful. It's something to work on. Thanks for watching, and look out for next week's navigation task. Bye for now.